Hey, what you doing, my boy? I'm taking this shit, homie. What you doing? Hey, my boy, I'm taking this shit, dog. What you?
Why is this funny? Well, it's because it's playing on your expectations. What you expected to happen and what did happen were completely different. Subverting expectations is a technique used in pretty much every industry. In film, at the end of Iron Man 1.
Truth is, I am Iron Man.
To adverts, intending to stay in your head after it ends.
Something's gone wrong in the happy-go-lucky world of Nintendo. Introducing Super Smash Bros., where all your favorite characters go toe-to-toe in one 4-player star-studded slam fest, only on Nintendo 64.
And of course, games and anime are no different. The simple act of playing on the audience's expectations isn't a simple one. It requires a good knowledge of your audience, it needs to feel natural, and most importantly, it has to be used sparingly. When the unexpected is done repeatedly to such an extent it becomes the expected, then you've got a problem. The classic enemy around the corner gimmick is so abundant in the games industry, it's practically lost all effect. But why does it work in the first place? Well, it's simple. Taking a look at the enemy around the corner gimmick, it's clear why it works. It elicits a shock response, therefore raising heart rate and increasing your attention. When something shocks you, you become more interested in whatever's on screen, wanting to either learn more about it or have it stay in your mind even after it's done. That's why when you think of Fight Club, you think of its ending. Or when the topic of Gears of War is brought up, not long after follows talk of Dom's death in Gears 3. By creating shock factor as a result of subverting expectations, media creators can create stories which are able to capture your attention during and after you experience it. But how do they do it? There are two ways to subvert expectations. Firstly, on a micro level, such as something happening in a scene which is shocking. A great example of this is in Attack on Titan, where the audience expects Eren's going to kill all the Titans. Him and his squad are able to go to battle with courage. They joke about who's going to be able to kill more Titans. The show is ready for Eren to go on his typical shonen power-up montage where he kills every Titan in sight. He is the protagonist after all, he can't die in the first 3 episodes, right? Right?
World, the things you told me about, I have to see them. I have to. Eren! No!
Oh. The other way it can be done is on a macro level. When a director has such a competent grasp on a genre and audience of a piece of work, they can use the genre itself to play on the audience. When it's done correctly, it can be incredibly powerful, regardless of the medium. One example of this is Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai. If you haven't heard of it before, let's take a look. It's a romance, slice-of-life anime based on a light novel of the same name, following a male protagonist helping out a harem's worth of beautiful girls. And this is the cover art. For crying out loud, the show opens with a bland protagonist in bed with his younger sister. Everything about this screams an ecchi show with terrible predictable plot, rife with fan service. That's not even close to what this masterpiece is. The author, Hajime Kamoshida, purposely did everything I detailed before in an attempt to subvert his audience's expectations about what they're about to watch. Instead of a throwaway ecchi, he goes on to create emotional stories featuring realistic characters with depth and personalities. The show is able to succeed further in its intentions because the audience goes in with the lowest of expectations, anticipating an easy ride. So when they're given this and this and this, it's able to hit a lot harder. Anime isn't the only form of media able to play on genre to create an effect on the audience. Games are able to obviously as well, with notable examples of Undertale and Doki Doki, which were successful for the first 10 people who played it before they ruined it for everyone else. Instead, the example I want to talk about is Spec Ops The Line. Much like Bunny Girl Senpai, Spec Ops initially presents itself as its medium's blandest form, in this case a cover-based third-person shooter. You spend the game shooting waves of identical bland terrorists in the same sand-covered environment with pathetic-feeling guns. As a shooter, this game is subpar to say the least, and for anyone who played the first 2 hours before giving up out of disappointment, that's all Spec Ops would have been for them. But throughout the later game, the real story begins to unfold. I really don't want to spoil this game for you, so please, I urge you to pick up this game and play it. The game is constantly on sale on Steam, so pick it up and play through it, you won't regret it. Okay, now that all the losers who haven't played Spec Ops are gone, let's dive in, shall we? Countless moments in the game begin to paint the protagonist in a different light. Firstly, the white phosphorus attack, followed by the men hanging on the bridge, and then finally, your squadmate is attacked by civilians. At no point does the game take the control away from the player in these moments. You are the one responsible for the white phosphorus attack, and you can choose whether or not to kill the civilians. This all comes to a head in the game's finale, where you learn that the protagonist is also the antagonist. The game then hands the player a gun, with the prompt to kill yourself.
2. I didn't mean to hurt anybody.
No one ever does, Walker. 3.
Spec Ops The Line is more than just a third-person cover shooter, but it's slow in playing its hand. It's able to hide its strengths, hide what makes it special. Third-person cover shooters don't typically offer players such an interesting, psychologically thrilling story, especially considering the overabundance of the genre in its generation. But it's thanks to the expectations of the genre that the game is given a backdrop to shine against. Sadly, expectations aren't always played up correctly, or its intended effect is lost or mitigated. As I said before, I'm sure Doki Doki was phenomenal for the first 10 or so people who played it. Genuinely expecting a cute dating sim only to be hit with this must have been amazing. Sadly, it was so amazing that people just had to talk about it. When an audience is expecting the unexpected, its effect is lost. No longer is Doki Doki a dating sim with an amazing hidden psychological metagame within it. It becomes a psychological game burdened with 2 hours of a dating sim. So what am I actually trying to say with this video? I guess I want everyone to shut up. If something is able to subvert expectations, then let it. I don't want to know that Sayori kills herself in Doki Doki, or that Bunny Girl Senpai doesn't have any cartoon breasts. Let me experience that for myself, the way it was intended by the creator. The art of subverting expectations is a powerful one. Don't ruin it.